What's going on, guys? We've got Kinneret here in the round pen. Hi, little baby. I've got a mic on, so hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to do a little bit of work with her today. Ideally, I'd love to put a little bit more weight in the saddle, pop that offside stirrup. I really want to get her as good as I possibly can. She is a 3-year-old highbrow cat Hancock cross. She's had quite a bit of time off, 4 or 5 months, and we're getting going with her. The goal is to get her started, and the dang freaking bath, but to get her started, I think she's going to be ready, hopefully, in another few weeks. My rule of thumb, as long as they've been ponied, you've got them outside, walk, trot, and lope both directions with the saddle. When I can put weight in the stirrup, get on their back, pop this offside stirrup in the saddle, we're going to do a first ride. They're ready for a first ride. But she has not had my true Colt starting saddle on yet, the one that we put first rides on. She's had this light saddle, and that's all right. Just part of the starting process, making sure that they're good with the cinch pressure, something above them, weight on their back, and right side, left side, shifting, right? Being good with things in their right eye going in their left, vice versa. We just want to make a horse as balanced as possible mentally. So we'll get to it, guys. I'm just going to swing this hip around both directions real soft. This was a extremely, extremely is probably a too harsh a word, but fairly reactive horse when we first got her. She had a few times where she jumped through the round pen right when we first halter broke her. Young horses will be young horses. And hi, sweetheart. She's a little more reactive, right? She was born bred outside. We halter broke her, taught her to pick up her feet. And I want to say it was maybe, I don't know, the first month of working with her, and she decided to jump through the pen. She jumped a 7-foot panel. So yeah, she was a little bit flighty, a little reactive when we first got her, but that's part of the process. Things are not always perfect, guys. And I wish we would have had it on film, but we didn't. But case in point here, I give you that reference to understand where this horse came from, right? I did not get her to handle like this overnight. And I didn't get her to handle like this by being aggressive and forcing her to stand and desensitizing her, right? This horse has never had desensitizing in her life. What she has had is building language, right? Teaching her that when I ask things, there's meaning behind it, and it's never putting her in a vulnerable or compromising situation. What I mean by that is there's language behind my questions. And if I'm fair and slow, I want her to understand that. I want her to learn. What I don't want her to do is be fearful and me force her to do things. Oh, you're all right. Nice. Good girl. Yeah, you're all right. Yeah, all right. This is why she doesn't have the big saddle on yet. I want to make sure she's totally comfortable. That cinch pressure, popping of stirrups, feeling everything on her. Before I put a 45-pound saddle on her back with 5-inch Manel-bound stirrups that are solid oak. That's a lot. Hi, sweetheart. So I'm going to go ahead and swing this hip around here. Good. Very soft. Lucky and chewing. Good. This is not as gentle as a cat horse, guys. As gentle as she looks right now. Like I said, she's a really nice horse, but she was just a little bit flighty when we got her. And she's coming around. I love when they start to change. And believe in you, right? And all this comes from, taking your time, not putting them in situations they're not ready to handle, if that makes sense. I'm just kind of continuously giving her a little bit more cinch pressure as the weeks go on. I don't want to cut her in half, but she's got to be comfortable with that cinch, keeping everything pretty snug. Because at the end of the day, what I don't want to happen is that saddle roll during a ride and scare her even more now when I'm off balance, right? Hi, sweetheart. But good girl. Oh, hi. Very nice. What we'll do now is maybe put a little weight in the strip. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm going to pop my offside stirrup here. Little baby. So anybody that starts colts out there, has started a colt, sees those ears back at me right now. Beautiful. Excellent. I'm going to ask now if she can swing this hip out. If she got stuck a little bit there. I didn't want to force it. I felt her just get tight a little bit. Good job. You all right, sweetheart? So that's what I mean about the tension right there. I felt her get just a little tight. Let's swing that hip around. Oh, you're all right. You're all right. That's not a big deal, guys. Got a little scared is all. Oh, girl. Good. Good. So I'm going to back up for a moment again. I'm going to lean on her. Good girl. So if you saw how tight I had that inside rein, it was to prevent her from jumping forward and kicking out, right? Because that's what can be dangerous. But, good girl, little baby. Yeah. You're just a little baby. Good girl, Netta. So she's just a little stuck on that left hind, right? That's all it is there. Good. I'm just helping her through it. That's all we're doing. Good girl. I can feel her locked up. So I'm just helping her get in the habit of swinging this hip out. Vice versa, get over here. Work this a little bit. Real quiet though, right guys? Good girl. Good girl. I'm not trying to get her all amped up about this. Ooh. Excellent. Absolutely excellent. Unlock that hip with weight on her back. Beautiful. So a lot of you guys probably are watching this like, man, this horse is broke. Just get on and ride her. And she's doing pretty damn good. But as much grabbing as I can get out of a horse, the better. Right? Because fear is what can get you hurt when you start horses, or just ride horses in general. When they go into flight mode and stop thinking, that's when it can get dangerous. That's when they run you off a cliff. I don't want to have any question in my mind when I put a first ride on a horse that I believe they're ready for it. When I put a first ride on a horse, there's always a risk that something happens, right? That's just Colt starting. It's riding horses in general. But good horsemanship, good language. It's about taking the time to develop the right skills, right? Yes, things can happen, but you don't go in to take a test just hoping and praying, gosh, I hope I do good. You got to go into that test thinking, I've done everything I can for this horse to be successful. And they're prepared. If you go in there just guessing, you're going to get hurt one day. And it can happen to anybody. But, hi, sweetheart. You're doing excellent. But you want to avoid that as much as you can. That's all I'm saying. Absolutely excellent. All I'm looking for, guys, is that she swings that hip out. Okay? Doesn't have to be perfect right now. I think I want to say I've only put weight on her back in this saddle like that once or twice before. And never have I asked for the hip to step over. Like I said before, yeah, we could probably get a ride on this horse. Might be all right. But you only get one chance of putting a first ride on. And why waste something, especially because this is a client horse, why put a ride on that doesn't necessarily need to happen yet? If we're not in a rush, right, and I got all the time I need, which I do, to make this a great horse, I'm going to do things the right way. I'm not going to cut corners. I'm not going to push her just to get a ride on. I make my horses for my clients as if I'm making a horse for myself. And I don't want 1 ounce of fear, if I can avoid it, in that horse. When I go to swing a rope, I don't want them even questioning or flinching, thinking that there could be something that makes them tense or dangerous. I want my horses totally relaxed so I can elevate them. I don't want to have to bring a horse down, if that makes sense. So as much as I can do just to keep these dudes relaxed, knowing that nothing we do is going to hurt them, the better. And my 2 cents on this horse, you know, right now, things can change, obviously. It could be sooner, could be a little later, but I would expect, you know, knock on wood, I would say she'll be ready for a first ride in another week or two. So hope that makes sense, guys. Again, this is Kinneret. She's a 3-year-old AQHA, highbrow cat, Hancock cross. Really nice horse. And she had some downtime, but we're getting her back in the, kind of getting her back on the schedule. And she's going to get started here pretty soon, and pretty happy with how she's doing. So as always, guys, if you don't subscribe, click like. We really appreciate you watching. Thank you to Dylan, the intern, who's filming today. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.